This video is the first in a series which will cover the history of Christianity from Pentecost all the way through to today. Each installment in this series will cover approximately 1 century and will consist of 2 videos, one featuring a narrative of the persons and events of that century, and the other featuring selected quotes from literature either from or pertaining to that century. In addition, each video will feature a bibliography including both writings from that period and historical and scholarly works about that period. That bibliography can be found in the information table beneath the video on its YouTube page as well as on my blog. In this video, we'll be taking a look at the Apostolic Church, that is, the history of the Church from Pentecost until the death of the Apostle John in about the year 100. 50 days after the resurrection of Christ, and 10 days after he had ascended into heaven, on the day of the Jewish festival of Pentecost in about the year 29, as Christ's followers were gathered together in prayer, the Holy Spirit descended upon them, appearing as tongues of fire. The apostles began to speak, proclaiming the gospel of Jesus Christ to the Jews who had gathered from all over the world to celebrate Pentecost in Jerusalem. And each of the Jews present at the festival, no matter what his native language was, miraculously heard the apostles speaking in his own language. That day 3,000 people were baptized, and the history of the Christian church began. Because of this event and others that followed it, the Sanhedrin, the council of Jewish leaders in Jerusalem, began to recognize that in spite of the execution of its leaders, the followers of this messianic movement were continuing their preaching and work, and the movement was quickly growing in numbers. They soon began an active and brutal persecution of Christians, which would last for many years. The first martyr of this persecution, in fact the first martyr of the new Christian faith, was St. Stephen the Proto-Martyr, a Christian deacon. He was accused of blasphemy against Moses and God and stoned to death. While being killed in this way, St. Stephen experienced a vision of God and asked him to forgive his murderers. After the martyrdom of Stephen, the apostles and other followers of Christ began to spread out from Judea, and by the end of the century brought the gospel to nearly every part of the then known world. The apostles Jude and Bartholomew, as well as St. Mariamne, the sister of the apostle Philip, traveled to Armenia to preach the gospel. Thomas went to India. Matthew, the same who wrote the Gospel of Matthew contained in our New Testament, went to Ethiopia. Andrew traveled throughout Asia Minor and as far north as Kiev in the modern-day Ukraine. The Apostle John stayed with the Virgin Mary in Jerusalem, caring for her until her death in AD 40. He then traveled to Ephesus in Asia Minor to preach the gospel. In about the year 35, one of the men who had been present at the death of St. Stephen and who was a prominent persecutor of the church had a vision of the risen Christ while traveling on the road to Damascus, Syria. Because of this vision, this man converted to Christianity and later became one of its most influential and important founding figures. This man was Saul of Tarsus, a Jewish scholar and member of the sect of the Pharisees. He would be known to later generations as St. Paul the Apostle. St. Paul wrote 14 of the 27 books that make up our New Testament. That's more than half. He can also be credited with inspiring another book, the Gospel of St. Luke, which was written by Luke based upon what he had learned from Paul during their travels together. Beginning in about AD 44, he also went on 3 journeys proclaiming the gospel all over Asia Minor, Greece, and later the city of Rome. He would eventually be martyred there in the year 67 alongside the Apostle Peter. St. Peter had come to Rome after founding the church at Antioch and appointing a bishop there. Arriving in Rome, he preached especially to the large Jewish population of the city. When St. Paul joined him in Rome, St. Paul began to preach to the Gentiles there. In July of AD 64, there was a large fire that spread over and consumed a large portion of the city of Rome. The Emperor Nero blamed the Christians of the city for the fire, though some historians of that period say that Nero himself probably started the blaze. As a result, Nero began the first official persecution of Christians by the Roman Empire. It was in this persecution that Saints Peter and Paul were martyred in AD 67. Peter was crucified. He insisted that his crucifixion be upside down because he didn't consider himself worthy to die in the same way as the Lord. St. Mark, who had accompanied St. Peter for much of his ministry and was a spiritual child of St. Peter, wrote his gospel based upon what he had learned from Peter about the life of Christ. Shortly before his death, Peter commissioned Mark to travel to Alexandria, Egypt, and found a church there. Paul, because he was a Roman citizen, was spared the suffering of a death by crucifixion and beheaded. Trouble also struck the Christians in Jerusalem at about the same time. Although Christianity was now spreading far and wide in Europe, Africa, and Asia, and in spite of the persecution of Christians there at the hands of Jews, including the death by stoning of Jerusalem's first bishop and Christ's elder stepbrother James the Righteous in the year 62, Jerusalem, as the holy city of the Jews and the place of Christ's physical sojourn, remained the heart and center of the Christian church. When there were important issues to handle and decisions to be made, it was to Jerusalem that all of the followers of Christ, including the apostles, turned. For instance, when a dispute arose between the followers of Christ as to whether Gentile converts had to observe Mosaic law, it was to Jerusalem that the apostles and others gathered to discuss the issues and reach a consensus, holding the Apostolic Council there in AD 51. In AD 66, though, the Jews rose up in rebellion against the Roman Empire. Nero quickly dispatched an army to put down the insurrection. The Christians of the city, led now by their bishop St. Simeon, a cousin of Christ, remembered Christ's prophecies about the destruction of Jerusalem and fled the city. In the year 70, Christ's prophecies were fulfilled when the city of Jerusalem was retaken by the Romans and the temple was destroyed. The Jewish historian Josephus records that 1 million Jews were slaughtered by the Romans when the city was captured. By the 80s and 90s, all of the apostles except for John, and nearly all of the first generation of Christians, those who had known Christ during his earthly ministry, had passed away, whether through old age, sickness, or in many cases martyrdom. The apostles, though, had foreseen that this situation would certainly arise one day, and had entrusted each church which they founded to the care of a bishop and priests. As the first generation of Christians passed away, these bishops and priests began to take charge of the church, guiding and leading it. It was also at this time that the first heresies began to arise, as there were less and less people who had seen Christ for themselves to correct those with false teachings. These wolves in sheep's clothing began to step out of the shadows and mislead some of the flock established by the apostles. There were two major currents of early heresy, the Ebionites and the Docetics. The first group, the Ebionites, were originally members of the party in the controversy leading up to the Apostolic Council, who had wanted Gentiles who were converting to Christianity to have to observe the Mosaic law. They chose not to obey the Apostolic Council and continued to teach their errors. After the passing of the apostles, they broke even more with the rest of the church and began to claim that Christ was the Messiah only for the Jews and not for the Gentiles. They also came to reject the divinity of Christ and to teach that he was only a human, though still the Messiah. The other group, the Docetics, took the opposite extreme. Basing their false teachings on a misunderstanding of some of the words of St. Paul, they came to deny the humanity of Christ and to say that he only appeared human but was really divine. This group would later be assumed into the Gnostic groups which arose in the 2nd century. It was in contradiction to these groups and to other errors of faith and practice that began to arise at the close of the apostolic era that the rightful heirs of the apostles, the bishops and priests appointed by them, began to assert their authority and take the lead in the life of the church. Perhaps the earliest example of this is the letter written by St. Clement as Bishop of Rome to the Christian community at Corinth. Because the Corinthian church had been established by St. Paul, when issues arose in their church over the dismissal of one of their priests, they turned for advice to Clement, a bishop who had been a disciple of St. Paul and had been appointed by Saints Peter and Paul to take charge in Rome. In the letter he wrote as a response to them, he gave a powerful testimony to the apostolic faith and admonished them to be obedient to their priests and not unlawfully dismiss them as they had done. Meanwhile, the longest living apostle and the only one not to be martyred, John, was living out his later years on the coast of Asia Minor. During this time, he battled against the proto-heresies of Ebionism and Docetism, and also became the teacher of several men who would take on very important roles in the church of the early 2nd century, including St. Ignatius of Antioch and St. Polycarp of Smyrna. He also wrote a Gospel, 3 letters, and the Apocalypse, all of which are contained in our New Testament. He died in about the year 100, and the Christian church, still young but already quite experienced, was left for the first time without an apostle.